Welcome back to the Game Session Stand. I'm your host, LeBeau, and today I have with me Sydney. Sydney, what movie are we talking about today?
Hello again. We are talking about one of my favorite films of all time, Rise of the Guardians.
Yes. So,
I didn't pick this, by the way, he did. I told him, pick an anime movie, because I could talk about anime movies for days. He picked this. I didn't guilt trip.
So, first question. With the success of the live action How to Train Your Dragon, a live action Rise of the Guardians might be on the table.
Hell no. Hell no. Please no. That's the one question you're getting out of me today. Hell no.
If you
Please
had
no,
to,
please.
if you had to, what would be your dream cast?
Okay, here's the thing about Dreamcast things. I don't like the idea of like cherry picking celebrities. I hate that because it's just stereotyping what they play. And I prefer like you pick the best for the choice. This goes for any job, but like you pick whoever is best for the job, and whether or not they're a big name or not. I would definitely say I would want, especially like I think like Jack Frost in particular, I would want that to be someone who's not as like already set cast or like someone who's been in a lot of other things. I would want it to be someone a little lesser known so you could connect more to the character individually.
So you'd want the draw
Like
to maybe come from the other legendary creatures.
you just
The
from
other
the
Guardians.
plot and stuff. Yeah, like just it's a good movie that would want to be the draw. Yeah, more than so and so's in it, especially since we're talking about an animated movie. Post Shrek world, especially. Other films did it before then, kind of in the 90s and stuff, but especially post Shrek, it was, if you watch trailers for films, it's just name after name after name, regardless of the fact that they can actually voice act well, and that's the only thing that's going to get butts in seats. And yeah, animation gets a bad rep, and I gave a whole talk about that in college.
Yeah.
Not a genre. But anyways, that's a whole another day. But yeah, I would not want this to be live action. It would be more doable than some things, but I will say there's something I think the climax could use a little tweaking just to make it a little better. There's one critique I have of the climax, if I went in depth with the film, but I don't trust it. I watched the remake. It's fine, but you can't help but just go, I want to watch the original. Or like that did it better, or just like what's the point, or whatever. And yeah, so it's kind of like doing that to another film that doesn't need to be remade. There are films that could be remade and it would work, and I don't feel like this film is done it because of just the way it just everything looks better. It would be really hard to do those very different characters and the way that they're designed in live action where they all look good together. If you think about like Star Wars and stuff, like there's a lot of wide range of characters, but they all still look like they exist in the same universe, even if some of them look really strange from each other. They still they fit. But I've seen other movies where it's like, that thing does not belong here. And I think this movie, without like everything having to be a certain kind of like, it looks like the real world, I think that would hinder the artistry of the film, the visuals of the film, more than anything.
Right.
But yeah.
I just ask because, like, I don't know, I make this argument so many times. It's like, it should be, like, this live action remake stuff should be for movies that did not get the reception they deserved.
Or they could use them fixing up.
Yeah. Like, Atlantis. Treasure Planet. Fantastic films that maybe have some issues, but did not deserve the bad rap they got and the commercial unsuccess.
Yeah. Whenever people bring up, especially because Disney's running the boat on it right now because you talk about Disney ones the most just because where we're at environment-wise, but like whenever people bring up Disney remakes, I'm like, my two biggest contenders are always Brother Bear and Black Cauldron, because I do have things with those movies that I'm like, that could be better. It's a great idea, but this plot or character wise needs to be fixed, and it would work live action.
Brother Bear would be expensive.
It would be a bit expensive, but I don't know. There's so many things where they forget to build a set and they just CGI it entirely, which I think costs more money.
Mm-hmm.
So that's a whole thing. But yeah, but like there's some things in that movie where I'm like, that needs to be fixed, and it would still be really good.
I need to
And then
rewatch that
yeah,
movie.
would be really great to do again, especially now we're more open to darker Disney movies.
Mm-hmm.
Even though if you go back far enough, there's plenty of Disney dark movies. People just have trauma, I guess,
Yeah, I
and
mean,
forgot it.
Bambi's mom, lest we forget.
I grew up watching Fantasia, man. Like, dude, is that the literal devil?
Yeah, was always my favorite part. That
Oh
was
yeah.
always my favorite section. That and the Mount St. Helens thing in Fantasia 2000.
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
We like stories. We like progression. The Dark Night of the
Yes.
Soul.
Yeah. I just laugh because I have slight irony, but we were talking about DreamWorks movie and then we got totally sidetracked into Disney,
Mm-hmm.
which is ironic if you look up the history of these two companies. Oh my gosh. Someone asked me if Disney would ever like go crazy and buy out DreamWorks like it's done other animation companies. I was like, out of spite, they wouldn't.
Yeah.
Like I was like, DreamWorks does well enough by and by that that's not gonna happen to them unless they
Mm-hmm.
really lost the plot. But yeah, out
Well,
of
I
spite, I
mean,
think
they
it would be
did
good.
sell to Universal.
Well, like yeah, they have a partnership with Universal and stuff like that. But yeah. But yeah, and they are outsourcing their animation, but that's just because filmmaking in general is not cheap right now.
No.
But yeah, but like I always tell people look up the history of of these two companies and how DreamWorks formed. Disney's not going to buy this company
Mm-hmm.
just because the very idea of it. They're like, no, they can.
And the bad
I don't think
blood
there's
with
as
Michael
much.
Katzenberg. Is he still there?
I I know he's still alive. I haven't seen a death release for it, but if he is there, he's probably like retired, just checking in once in a while, or just like a very like
Like a figurehead.
yeah, very much overseer. Doesn't isn't involved as much anymore. Probably,
Right.
I would imagine.
Um. So getting back on track, let's talk about the cast.
Yes, the
And
cast. Okay, it does have a fair amount of big
specifically,
names.
was Chris Pine the right choice? I agree with you that there were parts where
Yeah, his voice
it
is older.
kind of works, but it does kind of take you out. Like this kid, this. I mean, he's got to be what 16 at the oldest.
There's a debate in the production actually because the original writer for the books that this film's based on, he has Jack Frost as 14, and but the director, who actually went on to direct Spider-Verse, it's Peter Ramsey.
Oh.
He was this was his first directed film or animated film. But anyways, he thought that Jack Frost was closer to 17.
Mm-hmm.
So the character kind of gives off both those vibes, which I mean it's a teenager, so it's kind of you're in that stage where sometimes you act older, sometimes you act younger. Kind of what happens.
Yeah.
I usually just mentally I'm like this is 16,
Mm-hmm.
which I have a younger brother, and so when I heard his voice growing up, there would be moments where he was older and he was younger.
Mm-hmm.
I think what makes me okay with it is that Chris Pine does give off the vibe of this character.
He has a very
At the time, he
youthful.
really like it's very youthful, very kind of childish, kind of that kind of cocky nature. He was playing a lot of those roles at the time, I remember.
He was still like
Just
40 at that point, though. Oh,
no, he wasn't. Hold
isn't he
on.
like
Wait, how
50?
old is he?
Is he like in his
Pretty sure he was
50s
like
now?
30s. Hold on. How old is Chris Pine right now?
I mean, he was looking pretty salt and pepper in Dungeons and Dragons.
He is currently 45, and the film came out 13 years ago.
Okay.
So he would have been 32. So still kind of older,
I guess.
but I think he kind of, I mean, at the time, I'm thinking of other movies that he played in at the time that I was like, I thought he was
Princess
like late
Bride.
20s. Yeah, so like,
No, not Princess Bride, Princess Diaries. I
no,
keep saying that.
oh yeah, that came out before, but like he was young in that one for sure. That was another 10 years before or less, a little less.
Hmm.
But yeah, but like I think he like because your voice, it isn't until you're like most people really older that it really your age shows in your voice. Your voice will
Hmm.
kind of stay young for a while. But um but yeah, so I think for the most part, like he does a great job voice acting. I really believe a lot of the moments with him and stuff.
Hmm.
I there are some moments where I'm like, oh yeah, that's Chris Pine. But like for the most part, I'm like, it's this character and it
Hmm.
works for me. I
Yeah.
can see it bugging other people though. But the rest of the cast I think is pitch perfect. Pitch
I,
black.
I kind of struggle with
Who do you
North
struggle with?
a little bit.
Really? How so? I've met a lot of people that didn't even know that was Alec Baldwin.
It's mostly the accent work. And I'm just like,
Yeah, it's not
you're
like
kind of laying it on
true.
thick.
It is well, yeah. Like thick as in it's like it feels like someone doing an accent or like
Hmm.
yeah, that's fair. I can see why. I think it kind of fits the character, but yeah.
Big
I,
bombastic. Yeah, I
that is
guess.
that is one of my favorite versions of Santa ever though. Like that's the one I'm telling my kids about.
Yeah.
But,
Uh,
but yeah, and then there's Tina Fey plays Tooth. She completely disappears into that role in my opinion. And I love
huh.
her. You didn't know that one?
No.
That is Tina Fey. I let me pull up the cast just so I'm not getting blasphemy. I know this. I've been in this in this film for oh my gosh, has it been a decade? It's been more than a decade that I've been in like for lack of a better term, the fandom that is this film.
I
This is the film that got me into film, like wanting to like really get into animated films in particular when I
nice.
rediscovered it as a teenager. No, it's not Tina Fey. Oh my gosh, I'm splitting
Oh,
blasphemy. It's Isa Fisher. I get them mixed up.
Isa Fisher.
Fine. Isa Fisher. She's not as like I can't believe I got them mixed up. I am doing so horrible. She's most known. She's in the Now You See Me franchise.
Mm. Okay.
Um, and a couple other movies that are just kind of like not up my alley.
I was about to get her confused with Kristen Wiig because I just watched a Kristen Wiig movie with Secret Life of Walter Mitty. Ever seen that one?
The one with Ben Stiller.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's a good one.
so
I like
good.
that one. Um, but yeah, she's like in oh yeah, Wedding Crasher. She voices Beans in Rango.
Who,
Uh,
Kristen Wiig
the
or Tina
Isa
Fey?
Fisher.
Okay,
Or
because
yeah, Isa Fisher. Yeah,
I could totally hear it in Beans.
yeah, that's Isa Fisher and stuff. So she's been in a lot of movies, just not quite always up my alley.
Hmm.
So yeah,
Well, it's a good thing your dad didn't plumb like asparagus.
yeah. But yeah, so she's in it. And I think I love Tooth in this movie. She's so
Hmm.
fun. And I like that they balanced out the like the hyper kind of like mom friend vibe,
Hmm.
but also like she gets down to business.
Hmm.
Like she would be the out of her and Sandman are both like they give off very like chill vibes that are like, but if you make them mad or if you do
Hmm.
something to hurt their friends, they will end you. They
Yeah.
very much are those people,
It's like,
which are the best friends to have.
how many times do I have to tell you that I stand on business?
Yeah, so they definitely give those vibes. Yeah. And then of course, Hugh Jackman plays Bunny Bund.
Hmm.
Love him. He's
Perfect.
probably he's my third favorite character in the film because he goes like Jack Frost. I really like Pitch Black, partly biased from reading the books that these films are based off of, or
Hmm.
this film is based off of. But and then it's Bunny Bund. I absolutely love this character. I love the soft and tough dichotomy of the character and stuff, and I love his design.
Hmm.
And then Hugh does just a great job. This is this character
Hmm.
for me, and it's so good. And I like this him and Jack probably get the most development. I would say
Hmm.
him, Jack, and Jamie get the most development in the film, and so you really see like Bunny get interactions with everybody.
Hmm. I always thought it was
Yeah.
cool that No one else knows the kids' names except for Jack. Like,
Yes,
he
that is one of my
immediately clocks Sophie.
Sophie.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, I love that. I've talked to people about that and stuff and seen stuff where it's like it's very much like might be partly guardian hit like deep guardian magic in him because of how he was made a guardian and stuff
Mm-hmm.
or spirit or however you want to phrase that. But also just like the fact that he's in the world, he
Mm-hmm.
interacts with them, he knows these kids
He's
and that
not
kind of thing.
up in the
He's not
North
hiding.
Pole or in the Warren or the Tooth
Yeah.
Palace.
Hide
Like,
staying in their hideouts and bribing kids all day.
yeah.
New ways to bribe kids. So funny. There's some good singers in this movie. I have not watched it in a hot minute. I have it pretty much memorized,
Mm-hmm.
like plot and then certain scenes particularly. But yeah, I just remember there's some good singers in this movie.
Oh, yeah. Like,
I
Tooth
one of my
Palace. I think my favorite set pieces, Tooth Palace
yeah.
and Pitch's Lair.
Oh my gosh, Pitcher Slayer is so cool.
Yeah. And Pitch is so
I love it
cool.
because it
It's
reminds
just
me of
like,
those like oh, I don't remember the name of the painting, but I also know it was a reference for the film like Labyrinth, where it's like the stairs that like are an
mm,
optical illusion stuff. It
yeah,
gives off that same vibe,
yeah,
and it's so cool.
yeah.
There's some really cool concept art of it that I'm like, I almost wish they'd put that in the film. I
Hmm.
have the art book. Hold on, let me grab it.
Man, you
This is
really
one of
are
the
in this
this is my
movie.
first this is my first art book I ever got, which is really fun. There's some cool art that like is like you can tell between like where they were trying to put more of the book in there
Hmm.
versus like other stuff.
What is
There
the
he is.
age rating for the books? Is it more like middle
It's an
school?
easy read, so it's like middle school type reading,
Mm-hmm.
but there's some stuff in there because I read them when I was like 15, 16,
Mm-hmm.
and there's some stuff in there that as an adult, there's like as a kid, you're like, oh yeah, that's sad or that's scary or whatever. And as an adult, you think further into it, you're like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
Which is why I like Pitch Black. He's one of my higher characters because I know his backstory from the books.
Mm-hmm.
And it is one of the most like just
Harrowing,
like it's very harrowing and it's very much like this was
sympathetic
not at all
villain.
his fault. Yes, but in like sympathetic villains, they did a bad thing, but for a good reason, that kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
This was entirely not fault. He was completely doing the right thing, and the universe just messed him up. He was very much just the fall for something that happened, and like it destroyed him. And it's almost to the point where it's like, if his mind is still in his body, he has no control over his own body. Like it is very much like he is trapped within his own head.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, this is the concept art they had for the lair.
Whoa.
Yeah, it's crazy. I'm sure
Yo.
that was probably the original like or like it just kind of has like it's like a just more condensed version of like the stairs and the shadows going into each other.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I think this film definitely would have got a more interesting reaction with this villain if it looked like that was one of the original designs.
Dang.
That would have gotten some kids being like checking under their bed for a minute. But yeah, that's
Ah,
another. And then he's voiced by Jude Law,
yeah.
and I think Jude does a fantastic job. And especially, I've noticed people saying like he's not very menacing, he doesn't have a big presence, stuff like that. But it's like, especially knowing the backstory a little,
Mm-hmm.
and just kind of getting the vibes off the character, it's very much more like regal character. Like he has a high position, or he had a high position, and he's still kind of holding that. Like
Mm-hmm.
he's not a big theatrical person. He just he keeps himself in control as much as he can and gives off that air
Mm-hmm.
versus then trying to get everything together.
It feels like he was probably like Krampus at the start.
Kind of the he I know he wasn't Krampus. That myth has never been addressed in any of the material for the film or the book because they're kind of separate.
But just
There's
like
this
filling that
yeah.
same kind of purpose of like,
Very much, yeah, just kind of like there for the light there has to be a dark. You can't know light without dark kind of vibe.
mm,
It's very much that kind of thing. And especially, yeah, like I said, the film doesn't directly use exactly the stuff in the books. And the books actually had another one that came out after the film that very much shows these are two different kind of universes and plots to a degree.
mm-hmm.
So I kind of just cherry pick. But for him, movie only wise, it's very much like I am a natural being of this earth, and like fear is a natural thing that happens.
Hmm.
And I overstepped, or the world probably just got way too fearful, which then created need for the Guardians,
Hmm.
and they pushed me down. And I took that personally, and like maybe even they pushed him too far into the dark, where it was like he didn't even have enough to survive, so then he had to fight back for it.
Hmm.
Very interesting character if you try and figure out motivation and whys, which is something I really like, is like how Jack and Pitch's motivations are almost like for whys they are the same,
Hmm.
which is a really good way to write your antagonist, is like they want similar things and stuff, but it's very much the way in which they're going with it, or how far they're willing to go with something.
Hmm.
Which is why like one of my favorite scenes, one of my top 3 like scenes in the film, is the scene in Antarctica
Yeah.
where like that conversation, which is really good. I'm okay spoiling this film slightly because it's 13 years old.
Yeah.
Just go watch it. Beautiful, it's amazing.
Yeah. Um, let's talk about
Yeah, you scare me
Sandman.
because otherwise I will talk about anything. Sandman. Yes. He's kind of interesting to talk about because he doesn't have a voice actor.
Hmm.
I think he is definitely one of the most unique characters, especially in an animated film,
Hmm.
because of the fact that he doesn't speak.
Hmm.
He has his like Pictionary game,
Hmm.
basically. And he's not in half the film.
Yeah.
And so I think it's just I love the design of him. Like I love the design of like all the characters really. They really fit like their environment and the way they live. But Sandman especially is so interesting. And it's very much he's an easy character to really get behind and stuff and connect
Hmm.
to, which is important for then when he gets axed off for a minute.
Hmm.
So that you feel it, because otherwise if you don't care about that character and something happens to him, whatever. But he's really good, and you can definitely see I also like he you can definitely see how much of a power level he has and how much influence he has on the belief of kids,
Hmm.
and why he had to be kind of taken out of the picture, both like in terms of storytelling and in terms of like Pitch's plan.
Hmm.
So it's really interesting, and I'm really glad that they kept him mute. That's a thing from the books, and I think the reason was like so that he didn't wake the sleeping kids. It's like a choice thing.
Oh.
But, so it's really fun, and I really like, especially compared to the other characters, especially like North and Bunny, who are very loud, extroverted characters,
Hmm.
and
And
Tooth just kinda is in
competitive.
her own head. Sandy is like it's hard for him to sometimes find a place, but it's like in a way that's like he's kind of the older figure around them and stuff, and just he's patient and everything for the most part, but like still is the one that kind of ropes them back into, "We need to focus on this."
Hmm. Um, what do you think about the choice to kill him and then bring him back? I'm not entirely sold, honestly.
Okay.
Like it hits, of course, but it's just like,
Yes. I think it's I think it works in terms of the magic system. There's a lot of different ways, and yeah, that is part the way they bring it back is something that is like if I had to like remake this film,
mm,
that there's a climax issue which I will talk about after this. But magic system wise, I think it works because he's made of dream sand.
mm-hmm,
So yeah, if Pitch just turned all the dream sand into nightmare sand and there's no dreams left, then yeah, he would be gone. Um, and that kind of thing, and then brought back by the dreams of the kids. That makes sense. There is a deleted scene. There's a couple deleted scenes that's like, yeesh, I wish that was still in there. You can look it up on the YouTube. It's just in storybook mode, or um,
animatic.
just like yeah, like just like animatic mode where it's just the storyboards.
Mm-hmm,
Where it's like right when they crash the sleigh back at the North Pole right after Sandy's death,
mm-hmm,
and it's them kind of all reacting to it, and it's the first mark of like it's a good like foreshadowing to what happens with Easter and them kicking Jack out, because Bunny immediately is like, "What happened? You weren't there when we woke up."
mm-hmm,
Like not directly blaming him, but being like, "Why did you two run off without the rest of us?" And
mm-hmm,
like blaming it on Jack, and like and then North defending it and stuff, and then having that whole dynamic and just like, but then the three of them, the already like official guardians, comforting each other, and Jack kind of be on the outside.
mm-hmm.
Really good scene. but he shows that he has a gift from Sandy of like a box of dream sand that he gave him, and he gives it to them, being like, "So you have a part of Sandy with you because I know he was your friend." Even though it's
Mm.
clearly like this, he's a friend of Sandy's too, and you see that in
Mhm.
the film. But yeah, it's like one of those scenes. It's like, but like it's like, and there's like showing. It's a good way to show like Sandy still could come back. Like there's still pieces in there,
Mhm.
and like you kind of even see that with the nightmare horses because they are just bad dreams, and their eyes are still like golden.
Mhm.
But yeah, in terms of bringing him back, my issue is the climax because it almost feels like there's accidentally like three climaxes.
Mhm.
You have Jack realizing he's a guardian, which is a self-accusation moment and rise to the moment kind of thing. I forgot. I don't remember all the terms of the hero's journey,
Mhm.
but it's that kind of moment. So it's not as much a climax, but then you have like him bringing back Jamie's belief, and then fighting Beth's pitch and like throwing the snowball, and then them turning the dream sand or the nightmares almost instantly all the dream sand,
Mhm.
and then Sandy coming back. It's like the climax isn't as like succinct
Mhm.
and a clear moment where things tip one way or the other. And so it feels kind of drawn out, so it kind of like loses momentum.
Mhm.
That's one problem I have. There is a deleted, there's not a deleted scene, but there's a concept art that shows because you see Sandy like, oh my gosh, wait, it's dream sand. And you remember Sandy and he calls his friend like, wait, I know what we're gonna do. And they all run off and then you don't see them and then you see Sandy in a second.
Mhm.
They go and they use their belief in Sandy and like use the direct the sand and basically resurrect Sandy,
Mhm.
using a spell that's very prominent in the book. Belief is the most powerful magic in that story.
Mhm.
So there's a spell basically where you chant "I believe" and your belief in something makes it happen.
Mhm.
So there's a scene where the kids all like I believe," and that brings back Sandy.
Mhm.
But I think they probably, better or worse, kind of cut that scene so they could have the surprise of Sandy's back and that
Mhm.
kind of thing. So kind of using that kind of like not shock factor, but just kind of surprise.
Yeah. I
And it's like, yeah,
I guess it would make sense for that Sandy would be able to come back just because like the
yeah,
Scream Sand wasn't destroyed, it was corrupted.
yeah. But it's just it's one of the things. Like I said, the climax I think it is the weakest point of the film. I would say just
Mhm.
because it's there's not any like succinct moment. There's a lot of little moments. It feels very realistic in that way, but at the same time, it's not good for a film.
It just feels very kid movie climax.
Yeah. Where just everything gets cleaned up really nicely with a bow
Uh-huh. And
and
it's
really fast.
super easy, barely an inconvenience.
Yes. Yeah, that. Oh my gosh, that's a throwback. I haven't watched those videos since I was like since before college.
Very funny. But
So yeah, that's a critique. I think the strongest point of this film is definitely like the design of it, the look of it, like character, settings, like those kind of things.
mhm.
That's the high point. And then also the characters.
Mhm.
I say 9 out of 10 of the like 9 times out of 10, the characters are just amazing and they're really you want to get to know them more.
Mhm.
And that's the biggest thing about it. I mentioned like where it exploded post the film coming out because when the film came out, it did all right. It made back its budget barely,
Mhm.
so it didn't do like great,
It just broke even.
and it just kind of broke even. Yeah, like I pulled it up. Yeah, like its budget was 145 million,
Mhm.
and its worldwide gross was 306 million. I
Oh,
don't know what that is accounting for inflation. But, for then, that was typical film
yeah.
animated film budget. But, yeah, so it's like for a film to make a profit, it has to basically
Be
to
more than
break even,
two-x.
it needs to double its profit or its budget and then more.
Yeah. Well,
So it just barely made it back.
because production budget, or it's production budget and then
And
marketing
then there's
budget
marketing,
is basically the production budget doubled over.
depending on the film, yeah.
Yeah. So basically they have to make at least 2.5x to
Yeah,
be
and plus
profitable.
yeah, and also because the studio doesn't directly get all that money back, it still has to also go to, like, whoever else has their can of the cookie jar, including theaters.
Mhm. Yeah.
So
Uh,
yeah, so that happened, and then it kind of just died out. But the funny thing about this fandom is like it's almost like it's like, I don't want to say slow burn, but it's like it's always there. It has
Hmm.
not disappeared. This is a very loyal fandom.
I think.
And I got really into it back in it was when I was 15 or so, so like 10 years ago.
Hmm.
I rediscovered the film, really liked it, went online with what happened to it, and that was like I think something else introduced me to the fan art fan fiction world. But
Hmm.
this one's still huge, and it's never died out. Like if you go onto like big fan fiction site, it has like I looking at like fanfiction.net, which is kind of the older fandom website now,
Hmm.
but it's like number 7. It's right under like movies like X-Men and Avengers in
Interesting.
terms of how many's there. And like I look today, there's one that got posted like 5 hours ago.
Huh.
And there's fan art galore, and it's really active. Every time DreamWorks official account posts anything about Rise of Guardians or asking something, someone brings up Rise of Guardians, it gets thousands, tens of thousands of people that like it or share it or bring up the film or we would like a sequel, and it's all over and it's bled into multiple other like fandoms like we mentioned before, and like the shipping got crazy because that was a
Hmm.
thing in the 2010s. But yeah, it's like, and it's always there. I got invited to like a Rise of the Guardians like Instagram chat group
Hmm.
that's fairly active, and I just got invited to it. And I'm not active on Instagram, but like I like something. Someone's like, "Hey, you want to chat about the film in here with us?" And it's like, yeah, it's very active. It's always going, and I think it's the world building and the characters that
Hmm.
people really connect to. If you go and look, like I did read fan fiction for it for a long time,
Hmm.
and every once in a while I'll still dig up an old one if I'm like it's like reading an old book for me, my
Hmm.
favorite book. It's very much like found family. It's very much like exploring these characters and spending time with them.
Hmm.
Same way like people like do it with like the Avengers characters and stuff too, where it's like we just want to spend time with these people,
Hmm.
not just a big battle. And so I think it really shows like that's really where the strong point, especially with most of these characters being characters that are in especially American pop culture
Hmm.
for hundreds of years. And like worldwide, like Santa Claus and Easter Bunny, those have been around for so long and they're part of like human history.
Hmm.
And then having this way of just like this very personal, like these are people
Hmm.
and not putting them as much into as like a pedestal.
Hmm.
It really is interesting and it really helped people connect to it. And it has led to a just kind of, they're always here and they're always a way of connecting with each other.
Hmm. I think. I think what this fandom reminds me of is the Tron fandom.
Yeah.
It's like this movie that didn't particularly do well, but it has like a rabid fan base.
There's a rabid fan base, and it's like a good idea, fun
Hmm.
characters, but it when it happens, like all three now have happened where it's like this was actually fun. Like it wasn't like a all three of them. They're not fantastical movies, but they're
Hmm.
good movies,
Hmm.
and they just kind of miss the mark money wise and stuff.
Hmm.
But there's always you can tell there's enough in the world building, the characters, and the people that love it
Hmm.
that every what 20 years, like almost on the mark, every like 10, 20 years, a new one gets released.
Yeah,
Like there's clearly something here.
I'm really hoping for another Tron one. Did you see Ares?
Yes, I saw that in theaters, and yeah, I was actually shocked that how good and how much I liked it. Like it's a basic movie, like you can figure out
Hmm.
the plot, but it's like it's a good like just enjoy it.
Yeah, music, man. Whew.
Mm. I don't listen to or I do like I don't listen to the guys for Tron Legacy or for Ares, whatever those bands were. Like
9 Inch Nails
it was like Nine
and
Inch Nails and then Punk,
uh,
whatever.
Daft Punk.
Yeah, like I don't listen to those people regularly, but those soundtracks I listen to.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's the same. Yeah, with this movie and stuff. The soundtrack's also great. I love the guy that did the music, and it's very good. And when you meet the Guardians one by one,
Hmm.
it's a very intelligent thing that they did. You hear each of their like themes
Hmm.
or their leitmotifs and their themes. Like this is what this character is musically.
Hmm.
So you hear each of them as they're introduced,
Hmm.
and then later in the film when you hear like the Guardians theme or you hear like how they mix into that and when they get their little moments, then it's like you can almost close your eyes and still know what's going on,
Yeah,
which is amazing.
and it's just smart scoring. Um, I do have a little bit of an issue with like the pacing and story structure.
Yes. And yeah, I think that kind of bleeds into what I was saying about the climax. That sometimes some things are a little just kind of slow and fast at the same time.
Yeah, and it seems like it seems very episodic. Like
Yeah,
it's not there's not a clear 3 act structure. It's just like, oh, Pitch shows up in the North Pole, and then
I could if I
oh,
broke it down, I could probably figure it out, but I haven't ever. There is definitely one in there, but yeah, like I said, the climax, the third act, I would say, gets a little iffy.
it just
But
it just seems
yeah,
like jumping from set piece to set piece without really much connective tissue other than
yeah,
and
I. It
it
reminds me of like a D&D adventure
huh
where it's like there is a through line, there is something that there's a big quest that you're trying to do, or someone has a big goal that's leading the group,
mm-hmm,
but it is still you're doing little things along the way, and
mm-hmm.
little things are popping up. It's kind of that kind of old fashioned fantasy adventure.
I think my criticism really comes from Jack is a pretty passive protagonist.
Yes, and I think he's a very reluctant hero. Like definition of reluctant hero, and
Uh-huh.
I think he is reluctant for a quite a bit, and does have moments where he is separate from others
Mm-hmm.
in a way that like yeah, he does kind of get pulled along, and at the same time, it's also because they don't it's not as like you don't like the characters don't really bring it up, but technically he's being blackmailed in now.
Pretty much.
Like not only is it because Man and Moon dumped me 300 years ago, which, by the way, like that's something the fandom harps on is like 300 years with like seemingly no friends. Like
Uh-huh.
whether or not he has friends is like this guy's mentally sane.
Mm-hmm.
Ow, go back 300 years. That's before United States was made.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot that happened. But like that whole thing. So someone dumped me, and maybe this is what I'm supposed to do. Finally, thank you for telling me.
Mm-hmm.
And two, oh my gosh, I had like this gap in my brain. You guys are gonna fix it, but only if I help you.
Mm-hmm.
And Pitch kind of points that out, like the way that he plays with Jack's head and stuff in certain scenes.
Mm-hmm.
And like when he reaches out to him, be like, dude, I don't want you to be like me. Like, well, like it's kind of underhandedly like, I'm not gonna make you do anything. I'm just like you. We're just gonna do the same thing.
Mm-hmm. We're
That
not
like
so
the way he
different, you and I.
yeah, that kind of thing. But like, yeah, so then because of that, because Jack is there for a very personal reason, like you definitely can tell he does care about the kids, and
Mm-hmm.
he does explain it to Pitch like, I don't want a world in fear. I think there was a way they probably could explain why he doesn't.
Mm-hmm.
Probably because being someone who's like less hiding up in his hole like the others are, he's in the world, he would have seen stuff that's like, yeah, when the world's drenched in fear, it's terrible.
Yeah.
I don't want to do that again. That happens enough on its own. But like, yeah, so I think this movie, I do know that there were slight production issues in terms of like the original author of the books, William Joyce, very great job. Like if you like he did like Day with Wilbur Robinson and some other great stuff. And so
Oh,
if you look up this, like he's the guy that was the inspiration for like the robots film. He'll make the robots animated film. Like he's involved in a lot of stuff, and he's a great writer. I
interesting.
really like him. But his daughter passed away during the making of the film,
And he
and
kind of
which you
pulled
see
out.
because it's dedicated to her.
Mm-hmm.
So he had to leave, and so losing like the main driving force of the story, I think, didn't help. And then I think, yeah, I just like there's some things that I think they weren't quite willing to pull the trigger on. I think this film could have been a lot deeper
Mm-hmm.
in terms of certain characters and plots, which I think is why it has such a big fan fiction presence online, because it's
Mm-hmm.
like people went there and were
Mm-hmm.
like willing to do that, but I don't think the film's willing to do it. So it's like one of the things that kind of holds it back. It's a very big potential film, and I do enjoy it. I still think it's a solid like 7 out of 10 kind of film.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like those other three missing points, you can easily figure out why.
Yeah. So one more thing that I want to bring up before we close out
Yeah.
this episode. Do you think it had mini-nitis a little bit
Define that for me.
with the elves?
Um, Slightly, but they are not nearly as prominent. Slightly. I don't know. I know the backstory behind the elves, so that's kind of tainting them. Like you find out that back when before North was Santa, he was a bandit with a gang of 50 thieves before he turned his ways, but his men got turned into those elves because they found cursed treasure.
Oh, I thought they were going to be turned into the Yetis.
No, the Yetis were already up in the North Pole. And you can see in the background, in like the main area in front of the globe
Hmm.
above the fireplace, there's a picture, like a painting or a tapestry that shows them, like North and um the Yetis like making a deal
Hmm.
to live together and work together. So there's that. But yeah, but yeah, thinking of the minions, I don't think it's minionitis. I do think they're kind of the same vibe of characters, but I think this film shows restraint with them. They
Right.
have their little moments, and they even have moments where they're useful.
Hmm.
So it's like it reminds me of like the not as prominently, but you remember how the minions were in the first movie? They were actually they had a purpose.
Hmm.
They made sense. Or reminds me of like Olaf in the first Frozen movie, where it's like he's only there for a little bit, and he has his little moments, and then but he's very much he's the sidekick, and it's
He
fine.
he was there were
Yeah,
Jar Jar in Attack of the Clones and Revenge of the Sith.
yeah, just kind of
Just
like they
silly
have their little moments.
character, but
Yeah,
they're not there for 90% of the film.
yeah, no, I don't think that that's a thing with this with those characters. They have their little moments and they're really fun and cute and stuff, and they probably should have made toys of them. That was another thing this movie's production did not do well. They didn't make any merchandise. You had little baby tooth fly. But like, yeah, but
All right.
I don't think that I think those are done tastefully. That's like
Hmm.
tasteful, like little annoying characters are
Hmm.
done well.
Okay,
But yeah,
I can see that.
yeah, I
Uh.
think, yeah, there's nothing, yeah, in this film that I generally am like, that was terrible. Even the
Hmm.
problems that we brought up, I'm like, it's just like they're good. It's like there's nothing great. It could have been great. It's just with a few tweaks, but it's
Hmm.
like, it's kind of just like it's been dead or it's been done and there's not much you can do about it.
Hmm.
Even though the fandom is clamoring, there is so much sequel potential. Oh my gosh, with this film, I would just like I would want someone who I can trust to do it. It's
Yeah.
very much like and
Yeah.
who's gonna stay true to things and get as much as the original, like not only cast, but like the original like team behind it.
Hmm.
But yeah, but there's so much potential if you go off the stuff in the books or just the general idea. I would if they wanted to pull the trigger and be a little darker, I would love to do them less horror, the high horror stuff, but like some version of Krampus
Hmm.
as their next big bad. If they had to go big bad,
Hmm.
I would love to see that. That would be interesting. Though personally, I think everyone and myself included would prefer them just like kind of just the aftermath and Jack becoming a guardian, the guardians reconnecting with the kids.
Hmm.
Just kind of a more less like big bad vibe and more just like a just kind of a just character study would be really great.
Hmm.
Especially because I'm like, when they all waved goodbye in the sleigh, I'm like, less than 24 hours ago, they all blamed Jack and kicked him out, and like they're still, and Jack now has to deal with the fact that he drowned.
Hmm.
There's some, the next day waking up, there's like, there's some things that need to be addressed.
Yeah.
Um, for sure. That happens with a lot of movies. It's just like the next day, it's like, well, there's aftermath.
Hmm.
But like, yeah,
But
but
that's the
like, I think,
boring stuff.
yeah, it's not like I've read like 50 million of those fans. This is my little secret life that I had as a teenager. But yeah, but it's still a good movie because I know whenever I bring it up with people and they do remember it, they enjoy it.
Hmm.
You go on YouTube and you look up in the last like couple of months, there's still people rediscovering this film and going, actually this was really good. What happened? Like the same thing I did when I rediscovered it. It's just like it's just a good movie to watch.
Yeah.
And it's not a holiday movie. It's technically Easter, but it's like Avengers for kids.
Hmm.
It's kind of like all these characters coming together and doing something, and you enjoy the characters
Yeah.
more than anything.
Yeah. So, said you gave it like what, a 7.5? Something like that.
Yeah, yeah, I would give it like that because it's like it's a great film, or like it's a good film. It's just a good film. It's like it's not for everyone. It's not perfect. There's some
Hmm.
flaws in there, and you can easily, but it's like they're not like in your face flaws to me and most people I've talked to and seen. Like it's just kind of like, yeah, but like it's not bad. It's just it's a fun movie.
Again, with like Iron Lung, just like nitpicky stuff.
Yeah, that one I think very much is more talking back to the last time we talked, but like the that's very much more nitpicky and the people that are really ragging on it, I'm like, I don't trust the way you're talking about because they're very dismissive. With
Mm-hmm.
this one, I'm like, I can see why someone wouldn't like it. I can see why someone would like it.
Mm-hmm.
And just like it's a good film. It's very much if I had to take like all of DreamWorks movie, I'd say it's like one of their like I guess it's a weird way to put it, but like upper middle class films where
Mm-hmm.
it's like, yeah, it's the middle of the road, like not the greatest, but not terrible.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like in terms of like their middle grade films, I think it's higher up there.
It
Like it's
graduated
like it's a
7th in
good
the
movie.
class.
Yeah, it passes. It's a good movie. It's
Yeah.
just yeah, it's just like there's a couple things that's like something probably happened and just like there's a couple things they could have done a little stronger, maybe rework the script one more time. But yeah, it's just like for what it is, it's great and it's really fun to dive into. And then like I said, connect with people online and go read the books or
Mm-hmm.
just dive into newer stories or just enjoy the characters. You go to any Comic Con, you will find a Jack Frost. So clearly there's something to this
I
film.
mean, it's a pretty easy cosplay.
Yeah, well, I've seen Tooths and Bunnies. Those are crazy.
Oh, yeah.
But yeah, I think it's the core of this film. Now I think about it, the whole belief thing and connecting to childhood and thing. There's things that you watched or read or did as a kid that like looking
Mm-hmm.
back on it, as an adult, you're kind of like, was it great? But like it was fun.
Yeah.
You did so you did silly things as a kid that's like that's a stupid way to spend your time when
Yeah.
you're thinking of an adult. But it's like it's just the moment of it. It's that just having an innocent time of just like doing something fun because it's fun. We
Mm-hmm.
don't have to worry about time, money, effort that goes into day to day life. It's just an innocent time. And I think this film really captures like just kind of childhood belief and childhood like reasoning and stuff, which is really great. But
Mm-hmm.
not in a demeaning way, not in a this is a kid's film, this is animation, therefore it's only for kids vibe. Like it's just a good time. And
Yeah.
this came out like right around the same time as like How to Train Your Dragon and stuff like that, where it was like animation had a moment where we could just make films like this and not put high pressure on them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. I think I would have to agree with you about the numerical rankings of like a 7.5. Um, I think that's probably the closest I've ever agreed with someone on the show.
Really?
Yeah. I usually rank them a lot higher, but
I can usually go like yes, objective like I can be like this is one of my favorite films, but yeah, I can usually try to be like objectively I know this.
mm-hmm.
Like I'm a person I like Batman and Robin as like I watch it as a parody. Like if you take it as a parody, it's funny most of the movie. Some parts it's boring, but like yes, objectively this movie's not great, but I enjoy it
Mm-hmm.
for what it is. So it's like, yeah, so I try to do that. And so like with this film, I very much I have this book, I have other books. I read fan fiction out galore the stuff and everything. But I can still go, it's just a decent movie. It's just a good, solidly good movie. And it has a personal thing for me.
I think for me, and this is we'll wrap up after this, but
Yeah.
I think the thing that brings it up a little higher is that the emotional beats, even though sometimes it may seem a little glib, they
Yeah.
still hit.
Yes.
And like the emotional core is still there, and I think that's what saves the film really. But with that being said, that is our show. Our executive producer is Penny Pincher. Our director of photography is Cam Speed. Our first AD is Slade Clapper. Audio is by Check12. Legal is by Sumi Idaria. Makeup was by Make You Pretty. Our marketing wizard was Trey Lur. Stunts was by Fallen Hard. Script notes were from Paige Turner. Our editor was Seymour Takes. Transport was via Miles Away, and Union Manners are handled as always by Salary. Thank you so much for watching and or listening, and remember, if it looked good, it was probably done in post.